Did you know that anxiety can shrink your brain's gray matter? Anxiety isn't random, it's rehearsed. And now you're addicted to it. This explains why anxiety can feel so out of control, but also why you can retrain your body and your brain once you understand what's actually happening. And here's the thing. If it can shrink your brain, imagine what happens if you don't break the cycle. This is why you want to stay with me till the end of this video so that you can learn exactly how to shift it. By the end, you'll also understand why you feel anxious sometimes for no reason, why you're not doomed to live with anxiety, what's actually happening in your brain and body, and the exact practices you can use to start shifting it so that you can finally experience life without anxiety. And yes, it's possible. As someone who lived with anxiety my whole life without even knowing that's what it was, I can tell you that life without anxiety is possible. Not only in my experience, but experience of all the women that I've worked with. Brain imaging has shown that chronic anxiety leads to overactive amygdala, even when looking in neutral phases, meaning even when there's absolutely no danger present. So this isn't about what's happening outside of you, it's about what's happening within. This is your nervous system stuck in the old survival loop. Here are some more fascinating facts about anxiety that you need to know. Brain treats thoughts like real events. So when you imagine a stressful scenario, your body is literally going through that. Your amygdala reacts in the same way as if you were literally physically experiencing that. This is why the what if something goes negative, if it spirals, the body keeps living in stress mode and doesn't even know how to do otherwise. Chronic anxiety has been shown to reduce the volume in hippocampus, which is the memory center, and prefrontal cortex, which is logic and reasoning. This is why chronic worriers often get forgetful or brain fog. Your gut microbiome influences your anxious thoughts. This is called the gut-brain axis, and 90% of your serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter, is actually produced in your gut, but how much it produces depends on how much healthy gut bacteria we have. Unhealthy gut bacteria, or imbalance in gut bacteria, I should say, has been linked to increased anxiety. So your gut literally talks to your brain through vagus nerve, which if you've never heard of vagus nerve, check out my other videos where I talk about it and how to work with it to show to your body you're not under threat. Anxiety itself makes the neutral things look threatening. I already mentioned the brain imaging has shown that. In other words, your brain is creating danger for you to see and experience and totally be persuaded that it's happening even when it's not. Something else you need to know about anxiety is we get quite literally addicted to worry. And if you live with anxiety, you are addicted to it. Basically, you are addicted to the chemical and hormonal reaction of the body to those feelings, to those thoughts. So cortisol and adrenaline are supposed to give us the temporary sense of energy when there is the real threat around. We're supposed to get the temporary sense of high alertness. But if you lived in that state for a long time, your body is craving the adrenaline and the cortisol hit, which reinforces the cycle. And even though we get exhausted with it over time, we still act like addicts. Did you know that anxiety actually rewires your memory? So when you are in survival mode, your brain prioritizes remembering the negative events more than the positive ones. Because remember, your nervous system has one job, and that's to keep you alive. So it always feels that it needs to be prepared to what if something negative happens. This is why it gets it out of the memory bank to make sure you remember how bad it was. That doesn't mean you don't have good memories. It just means that your brain is not allowing you to remember them right now. And this can kind of create that negativity bias that bad things always happen to me. I don't know why this always happened to me, right? I don't know what's wrong with me. None of it is true. It's just the wiring. Now, if you lived with anxiety for a long time, calm can feel really weird and unsafe at first. See, for someone who's lived in survival mode for a long time, silence and calm and peace can trigger discomfort because your nervous system sees that as unfamiliar. So remember, for your nervous system, what's familiar is safe, what's unfamiliar is not safe. So silence, peace, love, joy that may feel unfamiliar, and your nervous system keeps sending signals to your brain, this is not safe. We don't know what to do with this. We don't know who we are in this. We don't know how to act when we're experiencing this. So we need you to send us back to the stress mode. And this is why relentlessness often kicks in during a meditation. You're wanting to move. You're wanting to open your eyes. You're wanting to experience the world. You're wanting to recheck that email. You remember all the to-do lists that you forgot when you were not meditating. This is why we do practice meditation, so that our brain keeps getting the signals that calm and peace and silence are okay. They're safe. And here's the most important fact. Your brain can unlearn anxiety, but not by force. See, we live in this world where we're trying to do more things, stop worrying, have more positive thoughts. Usually that can backfire. Instead, what you want to do is create consistent safety signals to your body and to your brain. Breath, movement, thought reframes. This over time rewires your nervous system into calm. Now let's talk about why anxiety becomes this loop that we feel like we can't escape. Neurons that fire together wire together. That means the more often you worry, the stronger those neural pathways get in your brain. So anxiety becomes the path of least resistance for your nervous system, basically. And that's because your brain and your body are following the easiest path. That's what a habit is. Something that we repeated over and over again, and because we repeated it so many times, it became a habit. But here's something most people don't actually realize. Your brain is not actually addicted to fear. It's addicted to certainty. Worry gives you this illusion of preparation. If I think of all the possible what ifs, I'll feel calmer. I'll play out every possible scenario and then I'll be safer. Again, calm on the other hand feels very unfamiliar. It feels unpredictable. Your nervous system resists it at first because it doesn't feel prepared. This is, by the way, for those listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, this is what he means when he says the body becomes the mind. Over time, your body runs the program of anxiety, even without your conscious involvement, because your nervous system has memorized survival. I had a client who would wake up between 1 and 3 a.m. every morning, waking up in full anxiety mode. She would say, I wake up anxious before I even know what's going on, before I even open my eyes. That's not because that was her personality. It's because her nervous system was conditioned into survival. But within a few sessions, her nervous system began to calm down and she started sleeping through the night. And that's already a huge signal that your nervous system is feeling safe, because your nervous system is never going to let you rest in a deep sleep if there's potential danger around. By the way, this is what I do in my work. If you're interested in working further with me or seeing what offers I currently have, check the description below. I'll leave all the details there. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about certain practices that you can start using today so that you can rewire your body and your brain out of anxiety. The first one I want to mention is called orienting practice. It's when you ground your senses. You're going to look around your room and name 5 objects. Notice 3 colors. Rest your eyes on one object that feels safe or neutral. Put your hands on your heart and whisper, I'm here. I'm safe. I'm calm. Feel that. How does this work and why? It pulls the survival brain out of the future and back into present moment. And you're also taking a slow activity of naming 5 things which you would never do if you're in fight or flight. So your brain and your body are already getting the signal, there's no immediate threat. The second one I want to mention, and again I have videos that go deeper into this, is vagus nerve humming. This generally produces instant calm. Put your hand on your chest, inhale, and then hum out as you exhale. Repeat that a few times. And as you do it, feel the vibration in your chest and your throat. Why this works. Vibrations in your chest and throat stimulate the vagus nerve, which sends the message to the whole body that you are safe. Once again, it's a practice you would never do if you're in the middle of immediate danger. Another one I want to mention in this video is a butterfly hug. You put your thumbs like this, Put your hands on your chest. So you tap left, right, all while breathing slowly. You can double it too. 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't need to count. I'm counting for you so you get an idea of how it's done. See what feels better for you. And just sit there doing that. This also makes you connect with your body. And once again, it's a practice you wouldn't do if you were in danger. Now, I have separate videos talking about nervous system hygiene, and you definitely want to check that out because it is important as to how you do this. You don't practice these when there's fire. You practice this like a firefighter when there is no fire. So when the fire shows up, your body is prepared through these practices. Here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself when you're starting to get out of anxiety. What story am I telling myself right now? If my body trusted that I was safe, how would that feel? What would that feel like? What proof do I already have that I'm safe in this moment? Through these questions, you're starting to activate and wake up that logical part of your brain so that you can start operating normally and safely once again. Anxiety isn't about reality. It's about your nervous system rehearsing the danger until it becomes automatic. Every time you give your body a safety signal, orienting, humming, taking deep breaths, you are breaking the loop.